So we are back with the lesson number 2's second video, and in this video we are talking about enterprise environmental factor and organization process asset. I know if you have some familiarity with PMBOK contents, you will say, yeah, these two are always an input to most of the planning processes. Now, yes, they are input to most of the planning processes, but there is a bigger story behind it, because we need to understand the surrounding environment and we need to utilize organization process assets so that we can plan better, and that's why they are input to most of the planning processes. So let's look at organization process assets. So when we talk about organization process assets, we can think of two type of uses or assets. One is a kind of knowledge base. So you have organization level knowledge base. The other type of organization process assets are you have organization level processes and procedures. Now, what is this knowledge base? At an organization level, you have information of previously done projects. So you have lesson learned library. You have project files of previously executed projects. Project files. You have history of defects and issues. So if I am working on a new project, which is and there was a previous project of a similar nature, I can look at project files, lesson learned and defect history to get some idea. It also has project management database. Now, what is project management database? If I want to look at that, what is my productivity? If I am an IT company, I want to know that how much time does it take to deliver a one function point. Do we have some database? Yes. So the knowledge base under organization process assets contain project management database, where you can get informations like these. You also have a financial database. In a financial database, you may get information related to labor rate, related to travel rate. So for example, if you want to travel to a particular location, and if your organization has all those information, that helps you in preparing budget. So all organization specific knowledge which organization has accumulated in years is available in a form of knowledge base, and utilization of that is called using the organization process assets. Now the second category, process and procedures. Now if you want to book a travel, there is a process. So you should know that if I want to travel to a given location, in an organization there is a process. So that process you need to know as a project manager so that you can plan your project better. So we can categorize these process and procedures as per our phases or a group. So look at, like, during initiating phase or during planning phase, we usually use process and procedures to identify tailoring. Now, what all tailoring you need to apply in your project, and what is the process of securing those tailoring is documented in process and procedures. Second, templates. So if you want to make a PMP, which template you should use is here. For example, you want to create a work breakdown structure, what particular template you should be using is available in process and procedures. So you may be having a repository where all the templates are stored, so you can retrieve them and use them as per your requirement. You may, critical input which is needed in your project planning is project life cycle. So what all life cycles? We will be talking about project life cycle in our subsequent video in this lesson itself, but the life cycle is such an essential information which impacts your complete planning process. So what all life cycles are recommended or acceptable in an organization is also documented in a process repository. And these information will help you in planning or initiating your project well. while controlling or executing, you may need a process information related to change management, like how the change is managed. You may also need information related to communication management. What type of communication, what rigor of communication is expected in this particular organization, and what are recommended medias of communication? Does it work always formal, or do you need to use a formal plus informal? Those things are also coming as a part of organization process assets. While closing, how you record your lesson learned, how you update back to project management database, those kind of process and procedures are written in organization process assets. Now, let's look at enterprise environmental factor. So, organization process asset is something where we have some bunch of information, bunch of processes which organization has designed by years of experience, and they help us in executing our project. Now, enterprise environmental factors are the factors which influence our project. Now, these enterprise environmental factors can be categorized under two broad categories. One is, say, internal factor, internal to the organization. So now in PMBOK, there are three types of organization terms you will find: project organization, enterprise, and environment. So project organization is a project. So when you say what is project organization, the team, project team is a project organization. The surrounding enterprise is the organization which is executing this particular project, and then you have a external environment. So the surrounding, I am using an internal word for that. So internal organization is organization which is executing the project, and external environment. This external environment is an environment which is on top of the internal organization. So this particular organization is working out of Africa. There is an X type of market condition, so that falls under external environmental conditions. Now, as a project manager, the internal factors could be the style of working, the people you have in organization, the culture you see in that particular organization, the policies. So do they have a policy of working overtime? So those factors are enterprise environmental factor. What is the environment of that enterprise? Do they is it okay to work on weekend, or they are very strictly no on working on weekend? So that is an internal enterprise environmental factor. External enterprise environmental factor could be like market conditions. So if we are going through recession, it's an environmental factor which is market condition. How stable is exchange rate? How stable is interest rate? These all are external factors. How geopolitical reasons, geopolitical situations. Availability of manpower. So do you have a required amount of skilled labor available in the industry? So availability of resources. Delivery time it takes, like if there is a fluctuation in say oil, and it takes time to get a particular unit delivered to your project enterprise, then that also need to be factored in. So as a project manager, when we are planning or when we are executing project, we should be, especially while we are planning, we need to be aware of the environmental factor which are given in that particular scenario.